Good morning, pupils.
Good morning, teacher.
How are you today?
Fine.
Okay, take your seats. So let's start our lesson. What was your home task for today?
Can I answer? Our homework was to write some questions and answer for them.
Questions. Who is ready? Your questions, please. Dinara.
Who is the author of Robinson Crusoe?
Who is the author of Robinson Crusoe? Answer, please.
Daniel Defoe.
Yes.
Is he right? Yes, he did. Okay, sit down. Thank you. Next.
How did Cruise get to a desert island?
Nana, please.
It is shipwreck. Yes.
Sit down, girls. Questions. Your questions, please, Ejan.
Where did Robinson Crusoe settle?
Who wants to answer? Who is ready for his question? Dinas.
Under the mountain.
Under the mountain. Ejan.
Yes. When did Robinson Crusoe come home?
Come home. Almas.
He came home on 11 July.
Is he right?
Yes.
Okay, sit down. Thank you. So, in order to open our today's theme, I would like to ask some questions. And the first question: how often do you read? How often do you read? Right.
I read every day.
Every day. You read every day. Good. Sit down. And next question: what types of fiction books do you know? Dinas?
Novel, story, and romantic book.
Sit down, thank you. And the last question: what kind of books do you like? What kind of books do you like? Who is ready? Dana. What genre of books do you like?
I like horror books.
Horror books. Okay. So, how do you think? What is the theme of today's lesson? The theme of our lesson? Open your copybooks and write. The theme of our lesson: Daniel Defoe, his biography, and his novel, Robinson Crusoe. Daniel Defoe, his biography, Robinson Crusoe. And let's watch a video about his biography.
No man has tasted differing fortunes more, and 13 times I have been rich and poor. Daniel Defoe sums up his life in his brief quote: spy, satirist, journalist, merchant, and writer, Defoe bounced back and forth between bankruptcy and prosperity, prison and political preferment throughout his life. Yet he never lost his sense of humor. Once, as punishment for publishing a controversial pamphlet, he was sentenced to the pillory, a wooden device used for public punishment that locked the prisoner's head and hands. For the occasion, Defoe composed and distributed his irreverent hymn to the pillory, a mock and daring ode that delighted the London populace, some of whom decorated the pillory with flowers. As the son of a Protestant dissenter, a person who defied the Church of England, Defoe attended the Reverend Charles Morton's Academy for Dissenters at Newington Green in hopes of becoming a Presbyterian minister. Here he developed his clear, graceful writing style. Trade and commerce fascinated Defoe, and by age 23 he had abandoned his plans for the ministry to become a merchant. However, he had a weakness for risky business ventures. His various enterprises in hosiery, brick-making, and breeding civets, cat-like mammals that secrete a musk-like substance used to make perfume, all failed. At 25, Defoe joined a rebellion against the Roman Catholic King James II, in which 600 rebels died, but Defoe escaped. 3 years later, was intended to ridicule savage suppression of dissent. However, both Anglicans and dissenters missed the point and were not amused. Defoe was jailed, but was soon rescued by the Earl of Oxford, Robert Harley, for whom Defoe became a spy. In his lifetime, Defoe published 2 newspapers, wrote fictional narratives, and penned more than 500 pamphlets and books, including the popular novel Robinson Crusoe. Unfortunately, he spent his last years in poverty and fear of retaliation for his acts as a government secret agent. The plague epidemic first appeared in Europe in 1347, and by 1351 it had killed 24 million people, 1/4 of Europe's population. It became known as the Black Death because of the way victims appeared in the final stages of their illness. As the victims' respiratory systems failed, their bodies turned dark purple and developed soft black swellings. Before the 20th century, the cause of infectious diseases were unknown, encouraging supernatural explanations. The plague still exists, and small outbreaks have occurred as recently as 1994. Fortunately, scientists now know that the plague is caused by a type of bacteria spread by fleas on rats. Scientists have developed vaccines and antibiotics to combat any future outbreaks.
Okay, what do you understand from this video? Almost. How do you think? Who is Daniel Defoe? What can you tell about his life, about his childhood?
Okay.
Stand up, please.
Daniel Defoe was an English writer. He was born in England, in London, actually. So what can I say about himself? He got his popularity because of his novel, which is named like Robinson Crusoe. He got famous because of this, and so yes, that's all.
Sit down. Thank you. Dinas, what can you tell? Your opinion about his biography. When was Daniel Defoe born?
He was born in London, England.
And where was he born?
In London.
When?
In 1660.
Sit down. Thank you. Next question. When did he write his famous novel, Robinson Crusoe? When? When did he write? Dinas, please.
In 1790.
And sit down. Next question. Who was his wife? Irjan, who was his wife? His wife. Who knows?
Crusoe.
What is her name? Sit down.
Her wife's name was Roxana.
Mary.
Mary, sorry.
Mary.
Mary
Taffy.
Taffy.
Sit down. And how many children did he have?
4.
How many children?
4.
8?
8, of course, not 4. 8. 8 children. Okay. Thank you. What can you tell about the story, the novel Robinson Crusoe? What about this novel? Main part of this novel. Almost summary. Tell me summary.
So okay, this story is about a person who crashed on his ship, and he actually got to the island where he had to survive on this island. So the main point of this story is that it's about a person who survived from the island. So yes, that's all.
About his name is
What?
What is the name of his hero?
It's Robinson Crusoe.
Robinson Crusoe, of course. Okay, thank you. Sit down. And the next task is look at the blackboard and pay attention for these words and give equivalence for these words. For example, journalist, it is
Newswriter.
newswriter, of course. Author,
Writer.
author, it is a writer. Open your copybooks and write. Be quick, please. Write this. Journalist, newswriter, author, writer. What is a shipwrecked, fiction, miserable, turtle, smooth, cheerful? Be quick, please. Fiction. Так, Ержан, fiction. Give equivalent for this word, fiction. It is a
It is based in
Так, sit down. Dana. Fiction. What is fiction? Give equivalent. Non. Non-factual literature. It's a fiction. Miserable. Miserable. Jonas. Miserable. What is miserable? How much, please?
Miserable, the synonym of this word will be sad, upset,
Terrible, maybe.
terrible, yes.
Turtle. It's a.
It's a
Reptile.
reptile,
It's
yes.
reptile. Smooth. What is smooth, Dinas?
Soft.
Soft. Gentle, soft. Sit down. And the last, cheerful.
Can I? It's happy, kind, or
Funny.
what else? Funny, yes.
Okay, thank you. So, the next task. True, false. Daniel Defoe was born in the family of non-conformists. Is it true or false? How do you think?
False.
That's false? False.
Really?
Oh no, this is true?
True or false?
Yes, yes.
Non-conformists.
What?
His father, Almas, read please. The sentence.
His father wasn't wealthy enough to give his son a good education.
Is it true?
This is true.
It is false.
Wasn't wealthy, wasn't.
It is
False or false?
False.
His father was a rich man.
Sorry.
Next, Dinara, read the third.
He was always rich and was never bankrupt.
Bankrupt. He was always rich and was never bankrupt.
That is false.
True.
False. Next, be quick. Read. Then the third, the fourth.
Daniel Defoe was the founder of the early Borges realistic novel and the father of English periodicals.
Is it true or false? True, of course. And the last, Ержан.
the older words
Stand up, Ержан.
7 years in his comments for his
Imprisonment
complaints.
was a complaint. Is it true or false? It is
False.
True.
true. It is true. Okay, thank you.